Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Northeast Diary. Here we bring you the latest developments from India's unexplored Northeast region. Friends, in today's edition we will take a look at how government's Beti Bachao Beti Padhao program is leaving an indelible mark in Tripura. We will also talk about the Northeastern Council and the role it plays in ushering in development in the region. In a heritage section, we will learn about the paddy-cum-rice cultivation of the Apatani tribe of Arunachal Pradesh. The centre has been awarding the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puruskar, India's highest civilian honour, to children with exceptional abilities and outstanding accomplishments in the field of innovation, scholastics, sports, arts and culture, social service and bravery. Ministry of Women and Child Development conferred the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puruskar Award 2021 to Venish Kisham of Manipur. She is the lone recipient of this prestigious award from Manipur this year. Let's hear a report from our Imphal correspondent, J.J. Thokcham.
15-year-old Venice Kaisham studied in class 11 at Kendriya Vidyalaya of Langjing CRPF and got the Puruskar in Art and Culture category. She is from Singjamai Leshangthem Laikai of Imphal and daughter of Kaisham Ibu Pishak and Kaisham Tombi. Speaking to AIR Notice Diary, Venice said that she has won in 3 international, 10 national and more than 300 state competitions in painting so far. She had interacted with the Prime Minister of India on 25th of this month through online, and she is inspired by the words of Prime Minister. She also expressed happiness on recognition of her work and conferring the award. She said,
"My name is Venice Kaisham from Singjamai Leshangthem Laikai, Imphal, West Manipur. My father's name is Kaisam Ibobisak Singh and my mother's name is Kaisam Tombi Devi. I'm a student of Kendriya Vidyalaya, Imphal No. 2, Langjing, Manipur. Currently, I'm in 11th standard. I have also received 3 international awards, 10 national awards, and more than 300 state awards in this field of painting. And the mediums I use for my paintings are pencil color, watercolor, poster color, and also other mixed medias. I have been awarded this Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puruskar Award 2021 by the Government of India, and I got an opportunity to interact virtually with the Prime Minister of India. It's such an honor and privilege to be able to interact with the Prime Minister, and I feel really grateful and happy that I got to speak to the Honorable Prime Minister. It's like a dream come true, so I would like to thank the selection committee of Bal Shakti Puruskar and the Government of India for giving me such a great award.
It may be mentioned that 32 children of this country have been conferred the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puruskar Award this year. Around 6 children from Manipur have applied for the award, and only Venice Kaisham has been selected for the award from the state. J.J. Thokcham from Imphal for AIR News, Northeast Diary.
Nagaland, along with the rest of the nation, celebrated the country's 72nd Republic Day on 26th of January. Governor R.N. Ravi unfurled the national flag and took the Rashtriya salute from the marching contingents. Our Kohima correspondent has filed this report.
The 72nd Republic Day celebration was held across the 12 districts of Nagaland with fervour. A state-level celebration was held at Nagaland Civil Secretariat Plaza in Kohima. Nagaland Governor R.N. Ravi in his address said,
"On this 72nd Republic Day of our great nation, I extend my warmest greetings to you all and to the rest of my countrymen. On this day of celebration, we remember with utmost gratitude and reverence our founding fathers whose sacrifices, blood and sweat created this great republic. We also pay our sincere gratitude to all those whose labor, capital and enterprises built this republic great. Along with the rest of the country, Nagaland also has been moving forward and contributing to the building of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi loves Naga people and holds them in high esteem. He is committed to restoring and enduring peace in the region with utmost regard to the wishes of the people. In a time when India is rapidly progressing and changing dramatically, we must make effort and advance with the rest of the country. I commend those who continue to draw inspirations from the founders of the state to realize their dreams of a progressive Nagaland. and urge those who have been led astray to join the mainstream. There must be no doubt in any quarter that Nagaland is and shall remain an integral part of the Republic of India. Any scheme to disintegrate the Republic shall face the brunt of this great nation. On this auspicious occasion, I earnestly urge those friends who are still standing between the people and the peace to see the writings on the wall. The people of Nagaland and peace can no longer be kept a hostage. Together, let us prosper for an Atmanirbhar Bharat.
On the occasion, Governor R.N. Ravi gave away the various meritorious awards to individuals and groups. Besides, cultural presentation by various Naga tribes, dance display and fusion music marked the celebration. This is Asanyo for Northeast Diary from AIR News, Kohima.
After the implementation of the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Andolan, the nation has witnessed a promising trend of improvement in sex ratio at birth. Sex ratio at birth has improved by 16 points from 918 in 2014-15 to 934 in 2019-20 at the national level. Out of 640 districts covered under the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, 422 districts have shown improvement in sex ratio at birth. Some districts which had a very low sex ratio at birth in 2014-15 have shown huge improvement after the implementation of the scheme. In the state of Tripura too, good progress and an improving trend of sex ratio has been seen. A report from our Agartala correspondent, Reena.
In Tripura, the scheme is being implemented in two categories. One is called Tripura Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, which is under the initiation of the state government and implemented in 7 districts out of a total of 8 districts in the state. The remaining 1 district is covered by the central-sponsored Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. Deputy Director of District Inspector of Social Education, Gomati District, Mr. Bijan Chakrabarti told AIR News that after the implementation of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao and its associated other social campaigns, a significant improvement is witnessing in sex ratio at birth in the state. The Deputy Director said,
"Felicitations to the girl students who secured highest mark in state board exam. Girls who are achieving good outstanding performance in the field of sports and other activities. We introduced massive awareness campaign, and through massive awareness campaign we are able to aware the people to understand the value of girls, whether girls and boys are equal and girls can do everything which boys can also. So, and these efforts, I think these efforts make lots of influence in the society, and as per the NFSS report, we have seen that significant changes has already done in South Tripura district. As per NFSS file, which was reported in the 18 and 19, out of 1,000 male child who born within the 5 years of last 5 years, 1,136 are girl child. So it's a one kind of achievement to us. So at present, our concentration also diverted from sex birth ratio into increase of sex birth ratio to provide the opportunities and other facilities to the girl child so that they can establish themselves in the society as well as their families.
Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, Save the Girl Child, Educate the Girl Child is the campaign of the Government of India launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015. The campaign aims to bring behavioral change in the society towards the rights of the girl child. For Northeast Diary, this is Reena Nomaithan from Agartala.
Northeastern Council NEC is the nodal agency for the economic and social development of the Northeastern region. The region consists of 8 states: Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tripura. Constituted by an Act of Parliament in the year 1971, it marked the beginning of a new chapter of concerted and planned endeavour for the rapid development of the region. The NEC has been instrumental in setting in motion a new economic endeavour aimed at bringing development of the region. Recently, the 69th plenary meeting of the NEC was held at Shillong, where Home Minister Amit Shah, who is also the chairman of the council, inaugurated the two-day-long meeting. More from a Shillong correspondent, Rustam.
The 69th plenary meeting of the Northeastern Council. The two-day-long meeting deliberated on all-round developmental plans for the Northeastern region and discussed about the progress made so far of the various projects that have been implemented in the region. In various technical sessions, discussion centered on the developmental projects related to livelihood, entrepreneurship, infrastructure, connectivity and other related areas in the Northeast. In the inaugural day, the Union Home Minister expressed appreciation for the various development initiatives carried out by the NEC over the last 49 years of its existence, especially its contribution towards infrastructure creation, including building over 11,000 kilometers of roads, installing 700 megawatt of power plants and building iconic institutes all across the region. He also appreciated the balance between the rich natural resources of the region and the need to further develop that do not destroy but rather help protect and preserve the environment and culture of the region. He emphasized that the northeastern states must work to improve their ease of doing business indicators in order to attract private investment, which is the real way forward for economic prosperity to happen. He gave his assurance that the government will continue to provide all the infrastructure and administrative support needed to meet these talents. Governors and chief ministers of the northeastern states highlighted the achievements of the NEC and gave insight for shaping the development agenda of the region. They emphasized that NEC being a regional planning body and a resource center should play a major role in guiding the states toward achieving the goal of development at par with the rest of the country. The members urged the government to introduce the concept of sister states in order to learn from experiences of more developed states in the country. They also stressed on the need to strengthen NEC with enhanced resources. Vice Chairman of the NEC and the Donor Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh said that the northeastern region will lead the growth story of India when the rest of the world is looking for economic resurgence through trade in post-pandemic times. He said that the region will be one of the favorite business destinations of India post-COVID-19 and bamboo is going to be the key pillar of the economic activities. He, however, asked all the states to equip themselves up to make optimum use of the favorable conditions that the Northeast will have during the post-COVID period. This is Rustam for Northeast Diary from AIR News, Shillong.
In Sikkim, the game of chess has been gaining popularity over the last few years. Hosting of national-level tournaments and participation of grandmasters in the recent past have also put the tiny state of the country's chess map. Our Sikkim correspondent has filed this report.
In the Northeast, chess was dominated by states like Assam and Manipur until recently, which has changed in the last few years with the game's growing popularity in other states including Sikkim. This has been partly driven by hosting of prestigious events including the National Senior Chess Championship and online tournaments. Recently elected Joint Secretary of All India Chess Federation and General Secretary of Sikkim Chess Association, Mahendra Dhakar, claims that now the state is leading the Northeast region in the game. He shares chess growth story in Sikkim and future plans.
हम लोग का मीटिंग रहा उस दिल्ली में, उसमें कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट को कैसे आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है, इसके लिए बहुत सारी बातें आई है उभर के। चेस इन स्कूल एक प्रोग्राम है जहाँ पर चेस को स्कूल में इंट्रोड्यूस करना, और ये अच्छा कारगर होगा क्योंकि चेस ऐसा गेम है, इसमें बहुत सारे टूल्स रहते हैं जिससे बच्चे लोग का सोचने का क्षमता बढ़ा सकता है ये चेस, और लॉजिकल आइडियाज भी बढ़ा सकता है। ये चेस इन स्कूल बढ़िया चीज है और इसमें अभी एक सिलेबस भी तैयार हो रहा है। ऑल इंडिया चेस फेडरेशन चाहता है कि और चेस इन स्कूल प्रोग्राम लॉन्च हो। 2009 से सिक्किम में चेस शुरू हुआ है। शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ टाइम में भी सिक्किम ने बहुत सारी उपलब्धियां हासिल कर चुके हैं। नॉर्थ ईस्ट लेवल में सिक्किम अभी नंबर 1 स्टेट 2 बार कंटिन्यू नॉर्थ ईस्ट चैंपियनशिप जीता है। लॉकडाउन में कोविड के कारण बहुत सारी लगभग स्पोर्ट्स तो डंप ही था, लेकिन चेस ऐसा गेम है जहाँ पर जो ऑनलाइन के माध्यम से खेला जा सकता है, और इसके लिए हम लोग ने यहाँ कोविड के टाइम में भी ऑनलाइन चेस टूर्नामेंट हमारा कंटिन्यू रहा है, और इसी बीच में हम लोग ने ऑनलाइन नॉर्थ ईस्ट चेस टूर्नामेंट भी आयोजन किया, और उसमें लगभग 200 के आसपास प्लेयर सभी जो 8 नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट जो है उनसे वहां से प्लेयर आके खेले और बढ़िया रहा। और मेरा फर्स्ट प्राथमिकता ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट को कैसे मेन स्ट्रीम पे ले आ जाए, इसके लिए हम लोग ने प्लान किया है कि अभी हम लोग का बात हुआ हमारे ग्रैंड मास्टर लोगों के साथ, जो अभी मीटिंग हुआ था दिल्ली में, कि हर एक ग्रैंड मास्टर को अभी भारतवर्ष में लगभग 67 ग्रैंड मास्टर हैं, तो इसमें लगभग 60% एक्टिव प्लेयर ही रहते हैं, वो प्लेयर गेम में फोकस करते हैं, लेकिन जो रिमेनिंग ग्रैंड मास्टर उनको एक एक स्टेप दिया जाए उसको एडप्ट करने के लिए।
Going forward, there are plans to initiate chess in schools to enhance logical reasoning of young students. There are also plans to increase the number of chess trainers to cover enthusiasts from districts. The objective is to produce more international players from the Northeast to encourage aspirants. With Sekat Sarkar, this is Parjat Sharma for Northeast Diary from AIR News Second.
Gone are the days when women would end up their entire life within the four walls of the house. Like their male counterparts, women nowadays are writing fresh stories of success with their wit and hard work. More and more women are expanding their entrepreneurial horizons and venturing into unprecedented range of business areas. This is noted that women are very progressive in all the states of Northeast region. They are hardworking and engage themselves in outdoor activities in addition to managing daily domestic routine works. The number of women entrepreneurs are increasing day by day. We may take an example of Mizoram. Here we have a report from Mizoram about a woman entrepreneur who has been passing through financial hardship and is now becoming an emerging, successful boutique owner. More from Aizawl correspondent Irene.
The state government has finally allowed reopening of classes for class 10 and 12 students, particularly due to the reason that these students will appear board exams by the next 2 and 3 months. Last November, the state government first allowed reopening of schools for classes 10 and 12, but it could not continue more than a week due to the spread of virus among a few students. Director of School Education, James Larintana, said the Department of Education has implemented all arrangements for the safety of each student. Hostelers have also been allowed to take boarding in their hostels with the provision of possessing a negative report of COVID test. Talking about the safety measures for the students, Director Larintana said,
"We have this SOP both in English and Mizo, which have been widely circulated. The class 10 and 12 hostelers will also be allowed to enter hostel provided that every arrangement is there for the safety of the students. And all the hostelers have to pass through RET, and with negative result of that only they can enter the hostels. Each and every school will have an identified isolation room. Suddenly, if such cases are there of any suspect case of COVID-19, the person, whether it be the student or the faculty, that person will be isolated in that room, and immediately medical teams will be called and they will take over. So depending on the situation of the COVID prevalent in Mizoram, we hope that gradually, stage by stage, we will be opening all the schools.
In the state, the current academic session will close in April after the government ordered an extension of 1 month from March. So there is a possibility that normal schooling will restart soon. Officials hope that normal schooling for all classes can resume by March. This possibility finds a ray of hope as the COVID situation is improving in the state. For Northeast Diary, this is Irene from Aizawl.
In our Personality of the Week section today, we bring an interview with Dr. Madhulika Jonathan, Chief of the Field Office Assam, UNICEF, by our correspondent Manas Pratim Sharma.
Dr. Madhulika Jonathan, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Would you please tell us what is the impact of COVID-19 on children in specifically Northeast region?
It's about a year since the COVID pandemic started. Children face a lot of threats. One is from the direct consequences of the disease itself. Secondly, from the interruption of essential services. And thirdly, from increasing poverty and equality that is being aggravated because of the COVID situation. As we are seeing more and more global data appear, it suggests that children and young people's health may be directly impacted by COVID and than we initially thought it would be. And also the main thing is that disruptions to essential services such as education, healthcare, nutrition, child protection, interventions are harming children. And a severe global economic recession is basically impoverishing children. Children have missed school, they've missed due vaccines, and we have been working very closely with the concerned departments both in Assam and the other Northeast states to ensure that rights of children are protected during this difficult time.
Right. Please let us know what has been your response on COVID situation in Northeast.
We have been working with the government of Assam in different departments and also along with other development partners, WHO, UNDP, to ensure essential services for pregnant women, for children, for adolescents, boys and girls, and people with special needs. And we basically want to ensure that whatever services were going to them continue. However, lockdowns, government restrictions have supplemented with the on-ground realities prior to the outbreak. We can see from NFHS 5 data that some of these situations where we had actually improved, now again in NFHS 5 data we had seen that some of these gains have been lost and some of the advantages that we had got for children, we have lost that. In Assam, for example, in the COVID response, specifically with the health department, we have worked closely to assess, to plan, to implement and to monitor and evaluate the state COVID response strategy and support the state team in surge planning. We've also worked on, training and capacity building of frontline workers and most importantly on awareness generation against stigma and discrimination. Coordinated assessment of COVID-19 treatment centers was done and a roadmap was, worked on with the Department of Health in Assam for how we could improve the planning and the implementation on the ground. In the Northeast states, what we have done largely is the identification of proper sites for setting up quarantine centers in each of the 7 states, COVID testing sites in each state. Arunachal and Sikkim were the last states to set up testing facilities with support from UNICEF. And initially the samples were being sent from these states to Dibrugarh in Assam and from Sikkim to West Bengal to Jalpaiguri in West Bengal. And now in coordination with WHO and UNICEF, facility preparedness, so the hospital preparedness, that is being undertaken for about 87 districts of the Northeast. In the area of communication, one big piece that has happened where many capacity building workshops were held and to support the work of the various departments, NHM, and also the Disaster Management Authority, including Assam Police. And basically, we helped to create more reach for many of the messages that NHM, ASDMA on social media. So to increase the reach of these messages so it could reach more people in the vulnerable areas and also created more content for them, digital content on platforms like WhatsApp, and so that they were able to share it with many people. In Assam, we had a double disaster. So we had the floods along with COVID. A big focus has been continuity of learning during the pandemic, which know that many children were not able to attend learning on digital platforms. Also, a large number of out-of-school children increased. And with that, we know that the increase in incidence of child marriage and labor also increased in the crimes against children. And during the lockdown, I think one big focus that we tried to bring was to the early childhood education and foundational learning. They have become an important mandate for the Department of Education, especially with the new education policy.
Right.
One important intervention has been focused on the central government scheme, which is the Pradhan Mantri Matri Vandana Yojana. And we have looked there to see how women can access the scheme in 30 districts of Assam and also to build their capacities so that women can access cash transfers for better nutrition. One more thing that I'd just like to add is the area of child protection, where we have looked at the Assam Police Shishu Mitra program, which is a child-friendly policing program. And one big win for Assam is that children who were in conflict with law, almost, 97 children were released on bail, which is a first of its kind in the whole of the country.
Right. Now, if I need to know, what are the areas do you think we need to give more focus specifically on child-related issues?
6-point agenda, as we globally call it. The first one is that to ensure all children learn, including by closing the digital divide. At the peak of the nationwide school closures, almost 90% of children worldwide were not able to access learning. And the children who were most vulnerable, that like for Assam, the children in the tea gardens, those who did not have access to smartphones, these were children who were not able to access remote learning during the school shutdowns, and more so girl children. So I think the first priority then is to ensure all children learn and to reduce this digital divide there. The second one is access to health and nutrition services and making vaccines affordable and available to every child, And when we look at children, I think the greatest danger to them definitely is of hunger and disease. And now that we see that there has been a loss of livelihoods, there is also the food security component is a little bit under strain. We feel that as the whole situation of COVID has made the situation of children more inequitable, ensure that children are, one, food is available to them, and also vaccinating them against not only COVID-19 but also to the other routine immunization vaccines. The third one is protecting mental health of children and young people and bringing an end to abuse, gender-based violence and neglect in childhood. And for that, we have also worked very closely with the Department of Social Welfare to see how we can ensure that children continue to live with their families, even if the family is not able to support them, through alternative care support, like sponsorship schemes, foster care systems. The fourth one is definitely access to clean water, sanitation and hygiene, and address environmental degradation and climate change. And we know that in Assam, the Jal Jeevan mission is an important mission for the state, Har Ghar Mein Nal. And we want to connect this again to children's wellness and to women's health, because we know that women spend a lot of time collecting water. We also realize that safe drinking water will reduce diarrhea and reduce mortality, which is presently the highest in Assam.
Right.
The last one is also parents have lost their jobs. The child poverty index has sort of worsened, and more so for the children who are more vulnerable, migrant children. We know that there are many child-headed households. They are not within their parental care, and one sibling cares for the other sibling. I think those are, again, very important things to focus on.
And finally, now, since COVID vaccination has been rolled out, so what role UNICEF is being played here?
UNICEF focuses largely on facility preparedness for handling adequate quantities of vaccine. We also work closely with the government on managing the temperature, so the cold chain management to ensure that the vaccine is stored and supplied properly, and also to minimize wastage because of vaccine being stored at the wrong temperatures, and creating a demand, because I think when the vaccine is available, if there is a hesitancy towards the vaccine, then a lot of effort from the health department is lost. Finally, we also support the government by visiting these sessions, providing what we call supportive supervision, handholding the workers, so that whatever support they need, we are able to provide them.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Today, in the Heritage section, we bring to you a report on the traditional way of paddy cum rice cultivation of the Apatani tribe of Arunachal Pradesh.
The Apatani tribe of Jiro Valley in Arunachal Pradesh is known for wet rice cultivation in the state with technically perfect methods of irrigating water from different sources. With time, Apatanis have also developed the technique of paddy cum fish cultivations in their rice field. Rearing fish beneath the rice plant helps in the control of unwanted insects and pests, helping in increasing its yield. Meanwhile, this is also a very efficient way of land management, where a single plot of land is used for both fish and rice cultivation, thus reducing extra human labor and enhancing income of the farmer. Mrs. Hage Tado Nanya is a farmer and has been doing paddy cum fish cultivation on his small plot of land at Jiro Valley since decades. Mrs. Nanya here tells us about their way of farming.
हम लोग खेती में दान और मछलियाँ लगाते हैं, कर रहा है, तो उसको मछली को हम लोग पूरा एक दो खेती में इकट्ठा करके जमा करता है, चौथा बोरा मिला के, तो जमा करके उसको खेती में को हम लोग नवंबर महीना को पूरा सफा करके रखते हैं, नाला होला में ठीक करके, और आली को भी ठीक से बना के हम लोग सफा करके रखते हैं. तो विंटर सीजन को पूरा हम लोग खेती को पूरा सुखा के रखते हैं, और फरवरी महीना को हम लोग पिछले साल का ये जो मछली फिंगरलिंग साइज को भी हम लोग डालते हैं खेती में. इसको डाल के हार्वेस्टिंग हम लोग मई लास्ट जून को होता है एक बार, और उसके बाद वो एक बार हार्वेस्टिंग हो गया और फिर से हम लोग चौथा मछली डाल के उसको सेकेंड हार्वेस्टिंग अगस्त सितंबर को होता है. ये मछली को ज्यादा टाइट से नहीं लगाना है, तो उसको डालने से भी थोड़ा पतला से डालने से खाना वाना जो अच्छा से मिलने से वो लोग ½ किलो होता है. पिछले साल का वो जो मछली होने से 2 साल जैसा होने से पूरा 1 किलो होता है. अंडा होने वाला 2 साल होने से माने वो तो 1 किलो ज्यादा भी होता है।
With that, we have come to the end of this edition of Northeast Diary. Do join us next week to hear more stories from this enchanting part of India. Bye-bye.